Hello, this video has footage from over an hour's worth of my editing the Global Conflict 1 briefing, all condensed into a 5-minute video. I'm going to be going over my likely inefficient workflow, just so you get a rough idea of what the process is like. So starting off here, I am working with RX5. Now this is a program that I use to remove a lot of clicking from audio because there's an inconsiderate neighbor who lives across from me and their fence makes a ticking noise all the time. It is picked up in my microphone. Quite annoying. I also use it to reduce the ambient background noise. I forget there is a word to describe that, but that's just that general hissing noise that you get. And it takes a little bit to actually run these algorithms over the audio track, but overall I am quite pleased with the audio that is produced from it. It's higher quality, and unfortunately that is not a paid for version of RX5 because, well, don't have that money. Then secondly, I open up the same file that I just finished exporting from RX5, put it into Audacity to continue working on just, beefing it up a little bit, smoothing it out. So I'm applying a noise gate to it. I also apply a dynamic compressor to it to raise up the volume levels. Right there is amplify, try to normalize it a little bit. And then I usually truncate the audio file to remove all the big gaps that I have in it, pauses, unnatural pauses. And then I import it into Adobe Premiere. I'm only using the Elements version of it because I actually bought this, and that probably cost around $40. So once I have all the files in here, I'm adding my overlays right there, the Stronghold Kingdoms and the Global Conflict 1 overlays. Then I just adjust the track size. And this is where the fun begins, really, because now I have to start editing down the audio track. I actually do my audio editing in Adobe because it allows me to edit it frame by frame much easier. I imagine there is a good audio program that would be better at this, but at the moment I ended up using Adobe, and I know I'm not using the keyboard shortcuts, so you might be just cringing at how I do that. Mainly because my keyboard is in such an uncomfortable position that to use it for an hour on end is not very ergonomic, and it results in me being uncomfortable, I guess you could say. So now a lot of this footage has been removed because it just isn't all that exciting watching me continually edit audio tracks down. Now I'm moved on from the audio track, and I'll be cutting up the video to hopefully make it match the pace of the audio a little bit better, so that way when I am talking about something, hopefully what's showing on the screen is slightly more relevant, as it would be if I hadn't unlinked the audio from the video in the first place. And usually there isn't a whole lot. There used to be more cutting involved before I discovered the truncate silence plugin, because there were some really long pauses that I didn't like, and with the truncate silence plugin I can just easily remove those. But before, I would spend probably 2 hours just editing the audio track down to remove ridiculously I don't know, they were just bad pauses, I guess you could say, because my cadence is probably not optimal when recording this stuff. You have seen what my cadence is like. I shouldn't say that is something I'm trying to beat, but you've seen what it's like in some of the first impressions videos that I've done, because I can't edit the audio down in those without actually dislocating it from the gameplay footage. And also it'll depend upon the week. Sometimes I do better than other weeks. More stuff, less stuff to remove. There I stretched out the overlays to cover the entire timeline. And now just adjusting some fade in, fade out business. It's aesthetics. Here I added these backing soundtracks, so you got some music in the background. Very low. You want to make sure that volume is not going to distract from the overall delivery of the report. So I generally keep it as much in the background as possible while it's still noticeable. And then here we have the outro, which is basically where it does the Stronghold Kingdoms thing. I did not animate the outro, by the way. That's from Firefly. And so far they haven't complained about me using it, so sometimes I do crazy things like put different audio behind it, and then finally we export it, and usually saving it takes about 20 minutes. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. That was a brief behind the scenes, what goes into my process of editing down the Global Conflict 1 report.